So today we're going to be looking at how do you determine if something's going to be a linear function or a nonlinear function. And there are three ways to determine if something is linear or nonlinear. Looking at a chart, looking at an equation, and actually looking at a graph. Graph typically being the easiest out of all of them. I'm going to go over one of each of the three types, and then you have an additional 9 problems, 3 of each, to try on your own, and then we'll go back and go over the answers to them. If at any point you have any questions, please write notes on your paper, circle problems that you have questions on, and then try and make time to come over and see me during Flex so that I can hopefully try and straighten up any confusion that you may have. So in the first one, you can see that we're looking at a chart. Remember that in the chart we have ordered pairs. X comes first, so I have 3, 12, I have 6, 10, 9, 8, and 12, 6. Oh, 12, not fraction bar. So 12, 6. You want to find your slope. We're going to be comparing slopes. So y minus y over x minus x. You need to do this at least twice, maybe more. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to do 12 minus 10, because I did 12 first on the top. The 3 has to go first on the bottom. So that's going to give me 2 over negative 3 as one slope. I'm going to pick 2 different ordered pairs. Doesn't matter which 2 you choose. I'm going to do 8 minus 6, because the 8 went first, 9 minus 12. 2 over negative 3 again. You'll notice that my slopes are the same. You need to, if you get 2 that match, you should try it one more time just to make sure that you're not missing anywhere. This time I'm going to come up here. I'm going to do 10 minus 8 over, because the 10 went first, 6 minus 9. Again, 2 over negative 3. We would claim that problem 1 is linear. Why? And I asked for a complete sentence. And its slopes are the same between any 2 points. Because their slopes are the same, we know that they are linear. In problem 2, we're looking at an equation. Basically, with an equation, you want to determine, first of all, can you get it into y equals mx plus b form? And if you can, does it look right or does it not look right? And you'll notice that 2 is pretty much in y equals mx plus b form. But my x has that little exponent of 3. Your variable cannot have exponents. So because that variable has an exponent, I know fairly certain that this is going to be nonlinear if I were to actually graph it. Why is it nonlinear? Again, complete sentence. The variable cannot have an exponent. Third one, looking at the graph, basically, does this graph make a straight line? If there's any sort of curve in the graph, it's going to be nonlinear. So nonlinear. Why? Graph has curves in it. I'd like you to go ahead and try the other 9 problems. They are just like these 3. They just keep repeating back and forth. Whether you're looking at a table or whether you're looking at a graph or whether you're looking at an equation. So I'm going to ask the teacher to go ahead and pause the video now. I want you to go ahead and try these. Once the majority of you have them finished, the video will turn back on and I'll go over the answers. Number 4. 4 should be nonlinear. If you found 2 of the slopes should not have been equal. So nonlinear, the slopes of 2 points on the same line are not the same. Number 5, we're looking at the equation again. Again, this one will be nonlinear. Why will it be nonlinear? The variable cannot have an exponent. Six, your graph is off to the side, off to the right. This should be linear. Why is it linear? The graph forms a straight line. We do need complete sentences, but your complete sentences aren't necessarily going to have a whole lot of detail in them. You can just simply state exactly what you observed or what you were able to see. In number 7, we're looking at the table again. This time, if you found 2 slopes, you should have figured out that your slopes were the same. So this is actually going to be linear. Why? Because the slopes between points are the same. 8, also linear. The equation is in the correct format. Sorry guys, it's really hard to write on this. But the equation is in the correct format. It's y equals mx plus b. You may notice that there is no b value. Typically that's 0. If we don't write it, we assume it to be 0. 9 should be nonlinear. Why? The graph has a curve to it. Number 10, nonlinear. Your slopes between 2 points are not the same. Slopes between 2 points are not the same. Eleven actually ends up going over on the next page, so I only have half the directions on one screen, but I have the equation on the second. Looking at this equation, notice that x down in the denominator. This is nonlinear. Variable cannot be in the bottom of a fraction. And the last one, number 12, again, nonlinear. Why? The graph has a curve. And that's it for nonlinear or linear, looking at those 3 distinct types of problems, whether it's the chart, whether it's the equation, whether it's the graph. Can you determine if it's linear or nonlinear? Again, if you have questions on any of the problems, if you're not quite sure why, if you want me to clarify anything for you, please feel free to stop over during Flex or whenever you have free time.